The back of this bench is going to have this beautiful decoupage paper from Mint by Michele. Now, what I'm having to do now, we've taken it down to the basement and I'm having to kind of lay it out. I'm going to have to trim. It wasn't shown, but the back of the wood there behind where the paper is going was painted just with the crinoline and not the special mix of paint. You need to have white paint behind your decoupage paper or it's just not going to show up very well. The paper has been carefully trimmed to fit, and now it is time to decoupage. Now what I'm doing there is I'm taking a razor knife and kind of going through that crack area, because in parts, it's barnwood. So in parts there's more of a gap than other parts, and in some places the paint filled in a little bit. So I need to have a visual crack, and you'll see why here in just a little bit. The decoupage medium I'm using is just plain old Mod Podge. Getting the hair out. And I like to work in very small sections, especially to begin with. So I'm only doing about an inch, inch and a half. Starting in the middle, making sure my edges are perfectly straight. I'm gently pushing it down with my fingers, but you'll see here in a moment I use a crunched up piece of plastic wrap to smooth the paper right there. Don't want to use your hands too much because you can tear the paper very easily. So now I just fold it back, do another section, a little bit bigger section this time, and continue on in the same way. You want to try to work from the middle outward and use that plastic wrap to try to smooth out as many of the wrinkles as you possibly can. This is not a smooth wood. Even though he planed the wood, it's still not real smooth. So I am going to have some crinkling in my paper, but you'll see at the very end when we finish it with some waxes that actually adds to the look of this paper, because it is very rustic with that Longhorn steer. While the paper is drying, I wanted to try a little technique on the bottom of the legs. I was thinking going from dark to the regular mixed paint color there in kind of a blended fashion might be kind of cool looking, like a steer's hooves. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm applying coffee bean, which is Dixie Belle color coffee bean, at the bottom part there, and then I will apply the lighter color, and then you start the blending process, which basically I'm just using that same light colored paintbrush, and yeah, it kind of contaminates the brush, but I wipe it off. And then I use the dark a little bit to brush the dark one up in. And then I use my Best Dang brush, I believe it's called, from Dixie Belle, to tap and blend the two colors together. The decoupage paper is dry now. I had not put more Mod Podge over the top. I just adhered it to the bottom, and I did that on purpose because now I want to use a dry iron and parchment paper to iron over the paper so that I can remove more of the wrinkles. The iron really helps to flatten and smooth those things out. Remember when I used a razor knife in those lines prior to decoupaging the paper on? Well, here's why. Before I put the top layer of Mod Podge on the paper, I need to go ahead and cut in that groove. And that way when I brush the Mod Podge on, I'll try to push the paper down in the groove to get it secure. And now it's time to put another layer of Mod Podge over the top to seal the paper in. I decided I did like the quote-unquote hoof legs, so now I have it up on my rolling casters and I'm going to finish off and perfect all 4 legs.
Nobody's road is the same. Both of us went our own way. Our hearts have never changed, 'cause we got our cabin days. Like my own sister, our souls weave together. Beaded bracelets I won't forget. Friends forever, like my own sister. Our souls weave together. Beaded bracelets I won't forget. Friends forever. Friends forever.
Using Folk Art Decor wax, and a brush, adding that wax into the corners and then into the lines on the back of the paper, and I will blend it out to age it a bit.
Arizona garden, stucco in the heat. Let me take you dancing. Let me get you on your feet. Arizona garden with my little cactus flower. Let the day slip away in the golden hour. We've got nothing but time and music, and a sweet cold drink in the heat. Oh, I'll be beside you every step of the way, right here beside you every step of the way. Prickly pear in a sandy bed, holding you heals me, but loving you hurts my head. Oh, Arizona gardens in the afternoon, no matter what happens.
We've brought it back up on the porch now, and we are distressing by hand, also knocking back and softening a lot of those dots that I put on there. A little hard to see in the basement, but the one thing about it, in the end, they will look more like wormholes and give it some nice distressing. After we finish doing this, you want to sand on edges where it would normally wear. Anything sticking up, like for example here, and knock that down a little bit. Where somebody's legs would be hanging over, you know, it's going to wear there. So after this, we'll blow the dust off. Clear wax over the whole thing first. And the purpose of clear wax before you do a dark brown wax is twofold. You may not want to use the brown wax everywhere, and so you still need to have a finish on it. And secondly, you have a lot more control with using a dark wax if you have first waxed it with clear. The other thing is, if you do get too much dark wax on, you can use clear wax as an eraser. So it's, you know, wax on, wax off.
It's me and you, baby. Nothing but time and music, and a sweet cool drink on her feet. I'll be beside you every step of the way, right here beside you every step of the way, every step of the way. Beside you.